had their grid positions reversed, leaving Marcus Jewell and Steve Williams, both Class A cars, on the front row. Here's Simon Hill with the full grid.
Well, it's going to be a bit of a challenge for Williams and Jewell to stay ahead of the scrabbling pack behind. We've seen the pace of Andrew Walsh and of Chris Randall. I'm sure that they'll be working their way through to the front, as will Paul O'Neill. But it's going to be an interesting battle throughout the rest of the pack. Martin Johnson, a good scrap from Malcolm Addison last time out, getting on the podium in his class, and lots of other drivers. They're looking for better results, such as Russ Treasure. Had a little bit of a spin earlier on. Vidal Chuan's joined his racing. Chris Pearson, Gary Broad, Keith Herford. They round out the grid as they are looking now at the lights. Good start from Williams, gets a nice clean getaway. But look at Andrew Walsh already, the momentum of that black number 6 car. Well, he's finding pieces of the Croft circuit and the rev limiter that nobody even knew were there towards the front. It looks like it's Kirby that's just got ahead. There's a bit of off-track excursion going on in the background. And I think that was Walsh, in fact, just taking a bit of a scenic route. Let's look on board, and he's now closing down on Craig Denman. I think it's just a matter of time before he has a little go, as it is in fact Mark Gooday at the front and Gavin Kirby trying to find his way around Paul O'Neill.
Great start there from Andrew Walsh, but it's Lotus 211 lockout at the front. The 3 211s, remember, Si, have got launch control, so they made a great getaway from their relatively lowly grid spots, not weighing quite so much as well. They're flying through the field, but look, they've got a more conventional car on the back of them now.
It is our race winner from earlier on. That is Chris Randall, right on the back of Gavin Kirby, already from 10th on the grid. Well, we thought he'd work his way through quickly, but didn't expect it to be quite this quickly. And already he's getting a move done down the inside. And I think he's just made that one stick already. Well, a lot easier than the scrap he was having with Andrew Walsh. Talking of whom, he must be working his way through as well. At the moment, it is still just Mark Gooday. Look at Paul O'Neill looking in his mirror. He knows, oh, Gooday makes a big mistake, runs wide, hands the lead. I'm sure Paul O'Neill wasn't expecting to see that. Hands the lead to Paul O'Neill. Gooday is having a right old time of it, trying to get it off the grass, Rob.
O'Neill didn't know where to look then. Paul looked to his wing mirrors on the left-hand side to look for Chris Randall, and then suddenly on the right-hand side, Mark Gooday just drove off the road in front of him. So, yeah, Paul O'Neill mixing it up at the front, but he's just now been passed for that race lead. We can see him looking to come back at Hawthorne as they come through the chicane, but that's Chris Randall in front and pulls away once he gets the power down.
Russ Treasure down the inside, very late on the brakes, too late on the brakes, it looks like, a little bit sideways. We had a spin earlier on this weekend, and certainly he's finding parts of North Yorkshire that I didn't think he expected to, really. But Chris Randall just edging away a little bit at the front. Looks like O'Neill's getting into a really nice groove now, certainly getting to grips with driving these cars. Meanwhile, Mark Gooday now recovering after his little moment earlier, well, a big moment in fact, and he's just coming past now a couple of the Class A cars, Vidal Chuan and Paul O'Neill. Sounded like a bit of a problem with the upshift there, Rob.
Yeah, it sounds like the clutch is slipping a little bit. If you listen when he changes gear, just you can hear the revs rise and the revs drop. So, yeah, Paul losing the position there to 95. Gavin Kirby in the more distinctive orange and silver 211.
Well, they are very, very similar looking cars. Obviously the same chassis, but slightly different modifications to O'Neill's car. The FSR guys of Mark Speller and his team have been working with Martin Donnelly to develop that car. Of course, Donnelly winning last time at Cadwell Park. Great drive from the former Lotus Grand Prix driver. Unfortunately, couldn't be here this weekend. But it is great to see O'Neill in the championship. Just loves his racing, doesn't he, with Paul? Obviously, we know him from winning in British touring cars and, of course, winning in British GTs this year, Rob.
Yeah, more lately driving that big V10 front-engine Dodge Viper, so one big sports car to a tiny little one, but like you say, he's loving his time here at Croft in these Lotuses.
Yeah, scrapped side by side through the Jim Clark Ashes as well. Look at Kirby sitting there, sorry, Gooday rather, sitting there watching it all unfold as Tom Chataway and the number 80 car of Stuart Mason have a right old ding-dong through then. Well, if you're going to have a scrap in a Lotus, it makes sense you're going to go through the Jim Clark Esses. If ever there was a man associated with Lotus, it's got to be that guy. But O'Neill now having Andrew Walsh sweep past him, certainly not quite working the way that he would hope. You'd think from there, wouldn't you, Rob?
Walsh with a slight power advantage. I'd expect him to be a couple of miles an hour quicker, but he breezed by on the straight. But Paul O'Neill not giving up. He's fighting back on the inside of Hawthorne, and here we go on board with Walsh. He'll pull to the left, unleash the big horses, and there he goes.
Yeah, the little whistle from the supercharger as he changes up, lots of power, certainly more than the designers perhaps would have even imagined that could have been put through this fantastic, really iconic sports car. Of course, Automotive's famous for producing so many superb road cars over the years. And the Elise, I think, will be making Colin Chapman very, very proud if he was looking down on just how successful this car has been and just how successful this racing is. Really is the sort of stuff that Chapman envisaged all those years ago. And O'Neill is a man who's absolutely loving this.
Colin Chapman, of course, so proud of his lightweight sports cars. Of course he would have been proud. Chris Pearson, though, having a little spin at Tower before he makes his way out onto that Jim Clark Essie section.
Down into the last part of the lap, Marcus Jewell having a real scrap with Malcolm Edison. Edison late on the brakes, too late, that was never going to be on, locks up, turns Jewell around. Well, it's going to be a very happy little Marcus Jewell after that one. Doug Setter's just ahead now. Here was our pole man, Steve Williams, having a mega scrap with Craig Denman. Denman down the inside into Tower. Difficult place to get it done, but just about manages to get through. Can he avoid letting Williams back through on the cutback? I think he just about does that. Meanwhile, Edison now under pressure from Marcus Jewell once again. Well, that scrap starting again. I expect Jewell is absolutely on the ballpark after that contact. Big slide there as he comes through the long sweeping right-hander through the chicane. Taking a little bit of curve there, which is down the line. Come back to see now. Jewell has caught him up. He's down the inside, much neater and much tighter overtake, but he's not giving up. Edison round the outside, trying to hang on in there. That could give him the line for the Jim Clark Essies. I think it has, in fact. Rob, that's going to be a major bit of a brave drive there.
Good driving from both of them there. Edison, we saw at the complex the last time, a little bit too aggressive, and we saw contact between the two cars, but very clean there as they turned through Tower. And Edison in that number 2 car, still keeping Marcus Jewell behind him in the very distinctive orange and blue car.
Meanwhile, Russ Treasure now putting a little bit more pressure on Tony Berry, braking to the first part of Sonny, going to Sonny in. Treasure looking a little bit neater and tighter than he was earlier, and he's down the inside of Sonny. Oh well, what an opportunistic manoeuvre. That was fantastic. You don't see that one very often now. Craig Denman and Steve Williams, Steve our pole man, almost side by side as they go into Clervaux. Keeping it nice and tidy. An interesting battle for the remainder part of the race. Are really fighting. Oh, big lock up there for Andy Dolan. Gets it on the road or not? No, he hasn't. He's gone grass tracking as well. Just about managed to keep it out of the wall. That's easily done there. Unfortunately, Neil now getting action near the front, putting more and more pressure on Gavin Kirby.
O'Neill, remember, struggling with that slipping clutch. Perhaps he's doing a great job to hang on to the back of the car ahead of him. Oh, that's Marcus Jewell making a move on Martin Roberts.
You see the damage just on the front of Jewell's car from that incident early with Malcolm Edison. Well, although it's got some cracks in the fiberglass, I don't think there's any cracks in his driving. It's certainly looking pretty good. Broad makes his way through the right hand, and the rest of them come following there. You can see Jewell starting to close down on Broad. Which is a spin. Gary Broad, a very spectacular, spectacular spin and a bit of drift racing going on there.
Spectacular spin, spectacular recovery. We saw a little lock up on the way into the corner, but he spun it round and recovered on the way out. And Paul O'Neill pushing very hard now.
To find a gap through. Well, not twice in a day, surely not. It's going to be 2 people who managed to get that move done into the inside of Sonny out, benefiting from back markers. O'Neill gets to the inside, but now actually getting held up by back markers in the reverse of what helped him out there. He's have to tuck it behind, but look at where he's trying to position the car. He's going a long way round there. That's going to be compromising in terms of his exit speed as they come through the left-hander towards the end of the race. It is going to be a victory once again for Chris Randall. Superb drive ahead of Andrew Walsh in his final race, and it is going to be Gavin Kirby and I think slightly frustrated Paul O'Neill. So Randall wins by 12 seconds this time from Walsh and Kirby, Paul O'Neill. Dave Porter winning the B class all on his own. Denman, Williams, Johnson, Gooday and Doug Setters rounds out the top 10. Class A then, Craig Denman once again from Steve Williams and Martin Roberts. Double victory for Dave Porter this weekend. Chris Randall, Andrew Walsh and Paul O'Neill again in Class C. And for the 211 class, Gavin Kirby, Martin Johnston and Mark Gooday.
And another great race. Did you enjoy that one?
Yeah, the first corner scared me. It was just cars flying everywhere, so I went round the outside, let them get on with that job. Randy's got more kahunas than me. He can play with the gravel. I'm not having any of that. So I chickened out. I had a good play with the Gav though, until the splitter decided didn't need to be on anymore. Then that was fine.
Yeah, look.
Gavin, have you quite finished doing your hair?
Yeah. I'm fine, thanks.
Do you need your makeup?
No. I'll put that on later, along with the dress.
And how was your race?
Brilliant race, yeah. Got a good start. I don't know where I got into the first corner, but got in front of Andy and held him back for a couple of laps, which I was pretty pleased with. Certain parts of the track I could see I was a little bit quicker than him, and other parts he was catching. But he got past me in the end, and then had a great run with Paul O'Neill in the other 211, which it's made my day really. Just to have a good close battle with somebody in a similar performance car, then it's what it's all about, you know. Obviously coming over the line in front of him, it's a real bonus. So yeah, great stuff.
Mr. Randall, a great race. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was not bad. More my usual style. I preferred the last one though with Walshy.
And you're off out in V2V next?
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? It's a nice little car.
Well done, thanks and good luck. 2 top results for Chris Randall and a fantastic day's racing all round here at Croft. Well, that's it. Join us next time from Silverstone.